Emotions in the first year of sobriety. Hello, welcome to Sobriety Bestie. And today we're going to be talking about emotions in the first year of sobriety. If you are finding that you're in early sobriety, you're in any phase of sobriety and you have a lot of emotions, you are not alone. A lot of us are in this circumstance. This was my circumstance exactly. One of the things that is really great to do when we're in early sobriety and we're faced with all these emotions is to gain our emotional literacy, our emotional awareness. And a great way to do this is to get in touch with how you feel. Like, what emotion are you actually feeling in that moment? A really cool way to do this, like when I used to work at a rehab here in Bali, Indonesia, is we'd pass around a feelings list to everybody in the rehab, and they would go around and they'd look at all the feelings and identify which feeling they were currently feeling in that moment or already in that day. What had they already felt? So if you want to go to Google and print out a feeling list and start identifying your feelings on a regular basis, that is a great way to get in touch with your actual feelings. Now, aside from just understanding what we're feeling, it's like, what do we do when we're feeling? If we're not using alcohol to manage our feelings, how do we manage our feelings? How do we navigate our feelings? Plus, we probably dysregulated because not only are we not drinking, we probably never addressed a lot of the trauma or any of the trauma that the alcohol might have been covering and masking. And the solution for, in a way. So what's on offer is to develop a list of coping strategies, relaxation practices, and tools that you can do so that you can calm yourself in the moment. This is like my favorite thing ever to teach. And I just want to say now, like, if you want to get my roadmap to freedom, you can go to sobrietybestie.com/roadmap. And you'll get a printout of how to navigate these emotions. It's a one-page PDF with a corresponding 40-minute video that'll help you understand that fully. I'm not going to go into that much depth here, but that is there waiting for you. I also want to say that I wrote a book on emotions and sobriety. It's called The Heartgasm Revolution, a mind-blowing guide to self-love. So I'll link that book down here. It is on Amazon, and that might be something that you want to check out. There's a bunch of practices in there that will help you navigate your inner world, calm all these emotions down. But this video wasn't meant to be an advertisement for anything else. I actually want to help you here too. I just want to make sure that I give you those resources and kind of highlight that this is a big deal. A lot of us, this is exactly why we relapse. This is why we can't get sober, why we can't stay sober, why we switch addictions and have cross addictions in recovery, is because we don't know how to navigate all the feelings that come up. So there are certain things that we can do that can help calm us down on demand. Now, number one, I think it's really important to know that wherever our attention is going, that's going to amplify or calm our feelings down. So where is your attention? Is your attention on thoughts that aren't helpful? Like believing thoughts, like believing stories. We have all these stories running through our heads and we believe them, that we might get fired, someone might dump us, something might happen, some sort of fear or something. We get caught in these stories and our attention is lost in these stories. We're not actually present in the moment, and these stories are freaking us out. They're causing emotional dysregulation. We think about something, then we feel about something, then we think about something, then we feel about something. We get on this, what I call like a thought feeling loop. That's like essentially a downward spiral that sometimes can spiral into rage or into an anxiety attack or into a more elevated or a more intense emotion where we feel more overwhelmed. So it's so important to catch yourselves in the beginning before this gets too big, the emotion, because what's happening with these emotions, that's like, a lot of it is hormones and neurotransmitters. There's stress chemicals dumped into our system. What we're feeling is these stress chemicals. So the more that we, the more like momentum it creates, it can be like a snowball going down a hill. So if we catch it in the beginning and notice that our feeling is starting to like raise and starting to get overwhelmed, if we can be like, aha, where is my attention right now? And bring our attention somewhere else, off of the thoughts and that are creating more of those feelings. A great place to bring your attention is to your breath. If you want to do like 3 breaths, we can do it now. Let's do it. Want to do it? Let's do it. Okay, inhale. Now let's do an exhale through the mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Let's not do another inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, slowly open your eyes. When I take 3 breaths, I always feel a bit calmer when I do that. Do you notice that you feel any different? You may not. So we can bring our attention to our breath. We could bring our attention to a mantra. A great mantra, like a go-to one, especially in the beginning of sobriety, is, may I be at peace. May I be at peace. May I be at peace. Say it with me now. May I be at peace. Feel in your heart your desire for yourself to be at peace. May I be at peace. Almost like it's like a wish for yourself. May I be at peace. Do you feel that? Do you feel your body relaxing at all? I feel it in mine. Like, may I be at peace. Like really feeling that care inside of you, if it comes up at all, for that desire for yourself to be at peace. May I be at peace. If your eyes were closed, go ahead and open them. Now, that is actually a line, a phrase from the Buddha himself in his loving kindness meditation, may I be at peace. So I borrowed that from the Buddha, so I welcome you to use that at any time. Another thing that you can do that's really helpful is to count. So if you notice that you're getting really emotionally dysregulated, that you're having thoughts that are quite stressful and that are creating more anxious feelings or stressful feelings, start to count. Count to 10, count to 100. When we count, it's like that mantra. It's harder for our mind to think those thoughts that are creating more feels when we're actually bringing our mind to those numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's also actually bringing our attention out of the part of our brain back here, which is more like the emotional center, and bringing it into the front of our brain, the prefrontal cortex. So we're changing where our brain is actually experiencing that moment. Perhaps my favorite way now to navigate emotions in sobriety, and I'm not sure what your experience is going to be like doing this in early recovery, emotions in early sobriety, emotions in your first year of sobriety, but is to bring your attention into the physical sensations in your body. Where is the emotion? Is the emotion, like for example, if the emotion is grief, I might feel something in my throat. I might feel something in my heart. If the emotion is, or the feeling is anxiety, I might feel it in my abdomen. If it's sadness, if it's rage, like where in your body is that emotion living? Where is the feeling? Notice, like, for me, I like to close my eyes if it's available, right? Close your eyes and notice where that emotion is. Where is that feeling? Where is that feeling in my body? This helps ground our attention into our body in the moment and usually can provide for a lot of freedom. A question people in the recovery community might have is something like, how do I gain emotional sobriety, or how do I achieve emotional sobriety? You might be wondering, what the heck is emotional sobriety? The way that I define emotional sobriety, or the way that I see emotional sobriety, it's that being sober with our emotions. So that I don't need to smoke, like have a feeling and smoke a cigarette. I don't have a feeling and drink a beer. I don't have a feeling and take a shot, eat a chip, do, swipe left, swipe right, whatever, like that I'm actually able to be sober with my emotions. I don't need to medicate my emotions with a chemical, a substance, or a behavior. So if I want to achieve emotional sobriety, or I want to be better with emotions in early sobriety, then a great way to do that is to begin some of these practices about being more present with your emotions, noticing where they exist in your body, doing the breathing and the calming techniques. These things will help ground you in the moment so that you don't need to reach for something else to control how you feel. A lot of my alcohol abuse was drinking to change how I feel. A lot of my cigarette smoking, like you want to find out why you do something, stop doing it. You'll see exactly what it's medicating. I quit smoking cigarettes the first week of April in 2010. I know that because that's when I went to India. I was 6 months sober and I was studying with a guru out there, learning transcendental meditation and different kinds of meditation and breathing techniques to calm myself down because I had a lot of emotions and anxiety in early sobriety. I was really freaked out for a while. So I was seeking out anything that would help me calm down. And one of his rules was no cigarettes, no alcohol, no caffeine, no garlic, no onions, this whole protocol, right? So when I quit smoking cigarettes, I got to see what the cigarettes were doing, what they were medicating. A lot of feelings came up. I would notice that I would have like the desire to smoke, the craving to smoke would come. And then because I wasn't smoking, what I actually noticed is that there was a feeling I was uncomfortable. There was discomfort in my body. And I didn't know how to be with that discomfort other than having red wine, other than having a cigarette, other than having sex, other than, binging on Netflix or doing something else or eating a bunch of chips, right? Doing something to distract myself or to numb myself out from that emotional experience that I was having. And so if you're doing something like smoking cigarettes or drinking or smoking pot or whatever it may be to numb how you feel, then what we notice when we stop doing that is we have all those feelings, which is probably why you're watching this video. You're like, yeah, I'm having the feelings. So it is a bit of a journey to learn how to regulate ourselves. It does take some time because we're rewiring our nervous system. We are rewiring how our brain reacts to life and how we meet the moment. So instead of going out to something else to like distract ourselves, with a chemical substance or a behavior. We're instead going in. We can go in. We can go to our breath and calm ourselves down. We can count and change what our brain is doing. We can notice where the sensations are in our body. We start to have these techniques that we do so that we can actually let our emotions pass through us instead of covering them up. And eventually, there's only so many old emotions trapped inside of our body. So as we do this healing journey, they're slowly going away. So we start to get rid of, they're gone, these feelings that have been trapped inside of us. These are old emotions that, are perhaps stored in our fascia and that layer of material inside of our body on top of our muscles, right? So when we don't feel things before, that energy gets stuck in our body. And then when we get sober, some of that energy comes out. If you've done yoga, you know what I'm talking about. You might be in a yoga pose and emotion comes out. You find yourself crying. I know for me, there are certain yoga poses, especially my first year or two of sobriety, that every time I'd go into them, I'd just start crying. So some of the journey is actually detoxing the old emotions that are inside of our body. Some of the journey is learning how to regulate our nervous system. Some of the journey is learning how to calm ourselves down and do these relaxation techniques that will also regulate our nervous system and calm it down. As we do this stuff, what's actually happening is our brain is changing and we're moving ourselves into a different experience of life. So it's not as intense down the road. Yes, it is a lot. If it feels like a lot, it is a lot, right? It's not always going to be this way. You might be somebody who is more dysregulated than the average human, right? That might be your neurology. That might be your genetics. That might be just who you are and how you are. That also might mean that you're hypersensitive in some ways, so you have some special spiritual gifts that are really cool. You might be somebody who tends to have more emotions, more anxiety, more stress than somebody else, That's fine. No matter where you are on the spectrum of emotions and feelings inside your body, all the stuff that I call arousal, like in Sobriety Bestie world, I call it all arousal. Your nervous system is activated. Your body is aroused. Your sympathetic nervous system is turned on. No matter where you're at in that, naturally, you can actually have a lot of freedom available to you. There's a lot of growth that you can do so that you can be actually more calm in your day-to-day life. And it really is using one technique at a time. There are so many techniques. I don't want to overwhelm you. That's why I'm referring you to my book, The Heartgasm Revolution, or to sobrietybestie.com/roadmap, where I go through my entire process. I could give you a few that come to mind right now. This one's actually really cool. So, and this one you can do when you're in relationship, when you're talking with somebody else. I'll do it right now while I'm looking at into the camera, talking to you. So while you're looking ahead, your eyes are ahead, switch your focus so that you're looking out the side. You're looking at your peripheral view so you can see your fingers. So I can see my fingers, right? So look at me right now. As you're watching this video, go ahead and do it. So look at the video and at the same time, see if you can put your hands out to the side and see if you can wiggle your fingers and see them in your peripheral view. So you're looking at your peripheral view, even though your eyes are forward. That has a calming effect. That when our eyes are super focused forward, we're more aroused, we're more focused, we're more ready. But when we're looking at our peripheral vision, it actually can calm our nervous system down. Also, if you've ever done a Kegel, if you squeeze the muscles for when you're gonna let's say you have to go pee really bad and you're trying to hold the pee and squeeze that really tight. Are you doing it? I'm doing it. You doing it with me? Squeeze. And then release. Squeeze for 5 seconds. Squeeze. Come on, don't leave me alone here. Squeeze. And release. Let's do it one more time. Squeeze your pelvic floor. Squeeze those muscles. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. That is also a calming technique. We have something called the vagus nerve, which goes from basically those muscles all the way up into our brain. And 80% of the nerve fibers on that vagus nerve, they go all the way from our body up to our brain. So by doing that squeeze and release of our pelvic floor, that is one of the ways that we can actually rewire our brain. So you have a lot of options. It is possible. Really what I want to give you in this video is some tools and techniques, but not to overwhelm you, but to understand that there is freedom available to you. If you've seen some of my other videos on this channel, you know I always say this. I don't know how much freedom is available for you, but there is some. There's a lot. So keep practicing the techniques, keep practicing the tools, do whatever feels do more of what resonates with you. There's gonna be different phases for different tools, right? I'm not using the same tools today to calm myself down that I was using in my first year of sobriety. I'm not, like as we evolve, the tools we reach for evolve. But we can also stick to basics. I still prefer the 3 breaths. Okay, I'll sneak one more in because it popped into my head. This is a technique that I learned when I was 8 months sober. I was in a recovery meeting in Sydney, Australia. I was having an anxiety attack outside the meeting. I had a lot of anxiety attacks in the beginning. I was super emotionally dysregulated. And this man came out, this older man who had been, sober for a really long time. He walks up, he sees me freaking out outside the meeting, and he taught me this technique. It's super simple. It's you just rub your belly. He's like, just rub your belly and bring your attention into the area where your hand and your belly meet. Go ahead and do it now. Rub your belly. I'm like literally just going like this across my belly. So rub your belly. You want to close your eyes. You can if that feels comfortable. And just notice where your hand touches your belly. See if you can feel anything, any sensations. Like I feel it getting warmer right there. I can feel my hand. I can feel my belly. Let's go ahead and take a breath and open our eyes. I hope you found something in this video that resonated with you, that might be 1 or 2 or 3 techniques that you can take with you out into your day today. Practice it today, practice it tomorrow. Keep up the good work. Let me know in the comments if you have a favorite technique that I missed. Please add it to the comments, or let me know which one you're gonna take and use. You got this, you can do it. There is freedom available to you, and as always, I wish you much peace and freedom on your healing journey. All right, I'll see you in the next video.